2, 1.
We'd like to welcome you to another edition of Grok Talk, brought to you by New Hampshire's leading conservative blog site, GraniteGrok.com. We are your feared extremist, right-wing, hard-charging, gun-toting, opinionated, outspoken, rabble-rousing, letter-writing, radio microphone-stomping conservatives and rational libertarians. So get ready for more news and opinion you could only get from GraniteGrok.com.
Grok Talk.
The world is full of amusing things, and this is one of those amusing things. So please tell us this is real. This is not a parody.
This is absolutely real, and I'm sure some of you two, some Groksters and many listeners, are familiar with a bunch of lawyers out of Minneapolis, St. Paul, who write under the group name Powerline. And they do all sorts of things, politics, science, really, really interesting stuff. Well, was there this morning looking around, because Saturdays they always have their really great cartoons, political cartoons, on Powerline. But I saw this headline. This is what they call Tales from the Ivory Tower. It's a regular post. It says, Academic Gibberish Watch, we have another winner. And this abstract is taken from a journal named Progress in Human Geography. And the title of this abstract is Glaciers, Gender and Science, a Feminist Glaciology Framework for Global Environmental Change Research. And the abstract says, glaciers are key icons of climate change and global environmental change. However, the relationships among gender, science, and glaciers, particularly related to epistemological questions about the production of glaciological knowledge, remain understudied. This paper thus proposes a feminist glaciological framework with 4 key components. 1, knowledge producers. 2, gendered science and knowledge. 3, systems of scientific domination. And 4, alternate representations of glaciers, merging feminist post-colonial science studies and feminist political ecology. The feminist glaciological framework generates robust analysis of gender, power, and epistemologies in dynamic social ecological systems, thereby leading to a more just and equitable science and human ice interactions. Now, they passed along the New Hampshire legislature last year that banned bestiality. Now, whether they banned human ice interactions, I'm not sure. That being said, the boys at Powerline say, yeah, I too was sure this was a parody, but in fact the lead author is the associate dean at the University of Oregon. He says, well, do they really sit around and say, gee, the gender of that glacier is uncertain to me. It might be a transglacier, perhaps reversing course in the next cycle. We'll have to cross-reference it with my post-colonial epistemology thesaurus. Why not? Notice a recent Paris Agreement on climate change that has, among other nonsense, this paragraph. Acknowledging that climate change is a common concern of humankind, parties should, when taking action to address climate change, respect, promote, and consider their respective obligations on human rights, the right to health, the right of indigenous peoples, local communities, migrants, children, persons with disabilities, and people in vulnerable situations, and the right to development, as well as gender equality, empowerment of women, and intergenerational equity. Now, the money quote here is the boys at Powerline to end it with this sentence. It says, this is why you get Trump.
And I think they're right. You know, a couple of things.
And not that I have a problem with Trump, but what sort of unbelievable crap on a cracker is this? How do you tell the gender of a glacier? Do you pick it up and turn it over?
What I want to know is how do you establish trigger warnings for trans glaciers when the environmentalists start talking about how they're receding?
Exactly, but
I don't
this
know where to
human
go with
ice
that.
interaction has me very troubled.
It does. Well, it's always been said that feminazis are ice queens.
There you go.
And,
I hadn't considered that. I think you're
and
right.
from a very old folk song, a thing's a phallic symbol if it's longer than it's wide. So glaciers are symbols of male oppression. So this is why we got this feminazi transgender
not if
glacier
they're
study
female
group.
glaciers. See, that's the whole thing. What
They
gender
may
are
simply
they?
they may simply identify.
Or they may identify. Correct. Right.
They may. But how do you know? Are there tests?
And would it be legal or illegal for them to dip into the wrong ocean?
Indeed. They
That's-
could, yeah, what oceans can we? But don't they all sort of merge at some point? Don't they all join hands and get along?
And a big
I mean,
genderless
I was in
sea.
Right, I was down in South Africa winding up a project tour down there, and was down on the Cape, and there's a point there at the Cape of Good Hope where the Atlantic and the Indian Ocean meet. Right,
Very turbulent, I believe.
looked very peaceful. It was.
Okay.
The colors were different, but you probably can't say that. But there was a marker, and so I stuck my toe in one and then the other, and was able to bring my toe back safely. But apparently there are lines of demarcation, and whether glaciers can absorb different oceans. Are oceans gendered? I don't know. How can a glacier have a gender if an ocean
You know what you
isn't
need?
gendered? What?
You need a grant to study this.
Mm-hmm.
You should apply for a grant for this. I bet you could fund your entire operation with a grant on whether or not the gender of oceans.
You might be able to. Maybe these trans glaciers qualify for expanded Medicaid.
They might.
They might. I mean, you get $701.53 a month for your insurance.
You get the same amount of money for receding Medicaid because there is no receding Medicaid.
That is correct. So I think that that whoever this person is, really, their mother needs to take them by the ear, put them in a timeout, and beat the crap out of them.
This is what you get with those courses.
Exactly.
What? I don't even know. How do you become an expert in that? You just get a certificate from an island nation, and then you're an expert on glacial gender studies.
It's just off the charts
It's
silly.
absurd.
But here's what's silliest and tragic is the fact that a dean at a university
Associate dean, to be sure.
can write a course outline that is so transparently specious.
Can you
and,
say transparent? Are there transparents?
There are transparents, yes.
Yeah, and are they allowed to adopt?
And what do they think about this whole glacier thing?
They might. I think
They might, but it's so
They
transparent.
could adopt a glacier.
So transparently specious and
Species or species?
and
Specious.
and facetious. In the reasonable expectation of getting government money to fund his course. Doesn't that say just how sad and corrupt and totally out of control our entire government apparatus is, that a university would even propose such a course? And is this, in fact, more corrupt than Trump University? At least you got taught a valuable life lesson there.
Feminist glaciology framework. Is it whalebone?
Feminist glaciology framework. There you go.
What is that framework?
Well, it wouldn't be whalebone because they don't believe in bras.
You're right.
Feminist.
You're right. I didn't think about that.
Framework.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means. And somebody thinks this is
I've got something that I would like to call a conservative bullshitology framework.
This has four authors.
So they've got all the genders covered.
We, the people, are paying those idiots to produce this stuff, for which we will then pay them more money.
Well, and then when the people who majored in this can't find a job, we'll be paying for them.
Exactly.
And the only way they're going to find a job, if they do, will be working for the government, which means we'll be paying for them.
And then they'll be like buggy whips because there won't be any more glaciers.
Right.
Right. This is a dead-end study.
This is
If glaciers are really going away, there's no framework.
They shouldn't fund this.
This is just nonsense.
I think it's oppressive, though.
It is.
Glaciers.
We should send this. Well, we should send this to Al Gore for approval, and he'll say,
"Well, if there's trans-glaciers, there must be trans-sea ice."
There must be. Trans-rain. How do you get glaciers? Right?
Snow, rain, right. Weather.
Trans-snow. But they are all unique.
They are.
They are all unique.
The ultimate test of liberal lunacy would be to run this by Al Gore for approval. And if he was honest about anything, he'd then say, there's no point in studying this because I've predicted there will be no more glaciers by next year.
But you know,
but he won't. He'll approve. If put to the test, Gore would be wholeheartedly, enthusiastically in support of this because it's all more government money laundering.
And I'll bet Joe Biden would back it because he'd be happy to check those genders.
Oh, yes, he would.
Put his hands on the glacier's shoulders.
That's right. Grope those glaciers.
Yeah.
Creepy.
Wow.
Creepy.
I mean, truly, this is why we can't have nice things.
Creepy Joe Biden. Right. And this is a priority to somebody.
Of course it is.
Of your money. Let's talk, forget roads and bridges, forget mental health wait lists, forget whatever it is they do with the money they pilfer from the alcohol abuse fund and so on and so forth. But we need to fund this.
But this is in fact government in a microcosm. I know the university is not in itself government per se, but essentially what you've got is you've got some scum that's risen to the top, that's floating on the water, that is in charge at this university. And it thinks itself to be so important, it can dream up any stupid idea and have the people pay for it. And that is exactly how government works at all levels. The idiots rise to the top and they propose stupid stuff, and they all clap themselves on the back and say, the idiots, the sheep will all go along with this. We'll fleece them one more time.
Well, apparently that's what's going on. But I was unaware.
But don't the fleeced sheep will get cold on the glacier?
It's unclear. But
depends on what gender they are.
Did you know that there was feminist post-colonial science studies? I don't even know what that means.
Feminist post-colonial.
Post-colonial.
Why isn't there feminist pre-colonial science studies?
I don't know. Maybe there weren't feminists then. I don't know. But I find this
the rise and fall of the American Republic. We created this framework for the freest and most prosperous nation on earth, and we became prosperous. And lo and behold, people had time and money to waste, and they learned how to steal from everybody else. And so the decline began. And now you have transglacier studies by post-colonial scientists.
Post-colonial feminist scientists. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's right.
Well, since we're gonna try this whole music on the break off the phone thing again, just to keep us editorially relevant. To keep us post-production
chronologically
separated, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know if it's
going
to work.
Separate but equal.
Separate but equal. Equal but equal. Okay, hang on. This might work. It might not. Stay with us.